Moving on to the NFC East side of things, this is going to be your Sunday night football game, probably the game of the week. Definitely the game of the evening. It's going to be the Detroit Lions heading to Philadelphia to face my Eagles. The Eagles are going to be 3-point favorites. The over-under is 47 money line wise. The Lions are plus 130. Eagles minus 150. And just get some housekeeping out of the way early. I alluded to it earlier. Monday night, it was a tough game. A defensive battle. I think the weather had more of an issue than I think it was able to kind of be seen. But yeah, it was not great, but a great debut for Jalen Phillips. I thought the defense, that was a vintage Vic Fangio, kind of give you some stuff, but once the rubber really meets the road, in plus territory, they're going to really tighten up. It was great, but the elephant in the room of that game was the final play for the Eagles, final offensive play for the Eagles, 4th and 9 with, 28 seconds left. And the Eagles decide to not only go for it on 4th and 8 or 4th and 9, but they're going to run a go route. And now apparently people are saying Jalen Hurts did audible to this route, but still, I think the play has to be punt the ball, trust your defense.
Right.
And not because I understand people are like, well, kick a field goal, then it makes it 6. You kick a field goal, it just weird things can happen. You can get it blocked, and next thing you know, instead of kicking to go up 6, you're down 4. I get it. But punting, even if it goes for a touchback and it's only a net of 12, well, hey, you know what? Those are 12 more yards that they need to get. And it almost became an issue. Luckily for the Eagles, the Packers offense was just the really, really head-scratching moves down the stretch for Matt LaFleur and company. They have their own questions to answer, which I believe we'll get to momentarily. But overall, a win is a win, but that coaching needs to clean itself up. That was not smart. And even, if it was Jalen Hurts who audibled to that play, don't put them in that position. Just punt the ball and be done with. Take a delay a game if you're worried about a touchback, and give yourself 5 more yards. It's frustrating, but at the same time, 7-2, so got the win in a tough environment as well. One final thing, A.J. Brown shenanigans continue. I don't know. Look, at the end of the day, Devonta Smith is right now a better pass catching option, and he's getting open more consistently, as is Dallas Goedert. I mean, hell, as is Will Shipley. So whether it's double or triple teams, we cannot force the ball into areas so that A.J. Brown won't go through a temper tantrum on Instagram after the game. I'm over it. I'm done with it. I hope that A.J. Brown is happy in Philadelphia and all this is just some weird, perverse little game he's playing. But again, if you can't be happy at 7-2, then go back to the Titans and be 2-7 and get just as many targets with Cam Ward throwing you the football. So that's my final statement on A.J. Brown. I'm really, really over it. I think there are better options. I'm not sitting here saying trade him away, but it's all too much, and it's all way too on brand for wide receivers, if I'm being completely honest. But in terms of this game, all that being said, I really think that the Lions, this is a big test for them, because they got to look at this as kind of a pre-NFC Championship test, because if they want to win the NFC, more than likely they're going to have to go through the Eagles and go through the Eagles in Philadelphia. So obviously this isn't the exact same stakes and all that stuff, but I really do think Dan Campbell is emptying out everything for this game. I'm going to buy 0.5 point. I like Detroit in this game. I think the Eagles have been flirting with disaster. They haven't been playing very good football, and they've still been winning. But I do think at the very least, it's going to take a Jake Elliott field goal late to win this game for the Eagles, but I would not be surprised if the Lions do get the job done. Look, more than likely, I mean, we could clip this and I could look like the biggest idiot ever, although I did knock on wood off camera. But it looks like we are going to get our first repeat champs in the NFC East for the first time in a very long time. So, now at this point, you're just trying to fight for that one seed, and this would go a long way towards securing it. But I just think this game means a lot more to the Lions than the Eagles, and I think they will come out Sunday night and show it because, again, Eagles have been flirting with disaster. And then my over-under pick, I do like the over here. I think the Lions are going to be able to take advantage of a good run-pass option, not run-pass option, but a good run-pass mix. It's going to keep Vic Fangio's defense, from going too heavily into zone and letting everything stick in front of them. They might want to stack the box against Jahmyr Gibbs, and all of a sudden Jared Goff goes over the top, and then we got issues. But I like the over in that one. Raider Jim, your thoughts? Detroit Lions at Philadelphia Eagles Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, I'm really surprised in a way that this isn't just a money line game because Philadelphia at -3 at home. I get it. You're at home. There's a little bit of rain maybe in the forecast, but when you look at the stats, which mean nothing anymore, but when you look at the stats, Philadelphia's defense is not in the top 10 anything. They are number 18 overall, which isn't bad, almost not quite middle of the pack, not the worst, definitely. But when you look at the Detroit Lions stats compared to that, that's a pretty tough team. And so what you're going to have in this game is you're going to have the Lions offensive line against the Eagles defensive line. I got to give the nod to the Lions on that one. And then you've got the Lions run game versus the Eagles. I got to give a little nod there too. And watch out, the real test, or not test, but two of the key people along with Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs versus the Eagles secondary. My goodness, this has all the makings of a fantastic game. It's almost like you're taking the heavyweight guy. The Lions can be the heavyweight guy, and then the light heavyweight guy, which is the Eagles, and it's going to be a combination of power against power and speed, and let's see who's left standing. But like you, give me a half point, give me Detroit +3.5 in this one, and I like the over myself. I think it's going to be one of those fun games to watch. Glad that that's what's on Sunday night for Sunday Night Football as opposed to any other two teams, really.
Yeah, 38. I see this 31-28 again. Whether it's the Eagles, whether it's the Lions,
Fun to watch.
Flip a coin. Yeah, it's going to be hopefully a very fun game. I mean, obviously, I know what I'm hoping for, but trying to be as unbiased as possible. And yeah, you're right. But I will say for the Eagles defense, they're getting healthy. This past week was the first time they were at full strength with Nolan Smith back, his first game since the Super Bowl. Brandon Graham obviously coming out of retirement. And Jalen Phillips looking like he is going to be an issue, not just in the pass rush game. He made a couple run stops as well. It's taken a little while, but I do think this Eagles, the overall kind of averageness or mediocrity, that's the word I'm looking for. It's going to start rising to at least above that going forward. I just don't know if it's going to be this one, because that's the other thing about with the Eagles. Their schedule is a gauntlet. It is very, very difficult. And with all due respect to my co-host, I mean, we only really have one kind of gimme left. And
here we go.
Well, look, it's in Philadelphia. If it was in Vegas, I would say, you know what, that's going to be a tough one, because I'm doing the same thing with Dallas. But I mean, that's a tough one. Vegas, in Philadelphia, that's going to be a tough one for this podcast. But anyways, very tough schedule.
Quite honestly, you bring that game up, and I'm looking at the schedule right now, and I just scratch my head, because on December 8th, the Eagles are going to be in LA playing the Chargers. Then they're going to go back home to play the Raiders, and then they're going to go on the road to play. I mean, not a great distance, but then they have to the away games against Washington and against Buffalo. Why wouldn't you just leave these guys out on the West Coast?
Yeah. Well, they don't. I mean, it's very, very rare that you get the schedule and it lines up like, oh, what a there's always a couple little like, what are they doing? You just kind of get lucky sometimes if you do get those back-to-back East Coast games where you can stay out somewhere, some college in the summer or something like that. But it'll be interesting, obviously, looking ahead. But all that was to say, the Eagles, very, very tough schedule, not just so far, but going forward as well. So